Joining us right now is the head coach of the Aztecs, Steve Fisher, here on Extra Sports 1360. Coach, welcome back. I hope the trip home was less eventful than the excursion to Laramie.
That it was, Ben and Chris. We got home in the wee hours of the morning, but we got home with no snafus, made the one fuel stop that we were programmed to make, and did get home. So that part was uneventful, and obviously when you win, you're all smiles as you go anywhere.
Congratulations, Coach, on your 250th career victory at San Diego State. I think a lot of people probably thought you were crazy 12 years ago when you took the job on the Montezuma Mesa. Probably a lot of people at that time figured you'd be lucky to win 25 games, let alone 250. So you got to be very proud of what you've been able to accomplish in San Diego State.
It has been a wonderful run for all of us, and I'll start with myself and our family and go right through our players and then the students at this university and the community. It's been a great privilege to be a part of it.
Tell me about the story behind MTXE and the reason why you think it worked for your team last night.
Ben, we put up like 6 little bullet points. I have things that I do before every game, and then we have keys to the game after that. But I always have 6 bullet points. And it might be concentrate, next play, different things, focus. And this one, given everything that transpired, I put up 1, MTXE. And we've used that before, mental toughness, extra effort. And when I was a young assistant coach, the head coach, a guy named Gene Smithson, who went on to be head coach at Illinois State and Wichita State, that was what he carried with him everywhere. And he had it on the uniforms and everything. So our kids knew what it meant, and they understood the significance of it.
Well, I thought that we talked about it quite a bit yesterday while you guys were going through the travel snafus, Coach. I thought that this would be something that you guys would almost use to your benefit in this game last night, all of the travel difficulty. This seems like such a close-knit group of kids, and when you have things like this happen to you on road trips, this is when teams tend to come together. This is when teams kind of pull it all together, and these guys all support each other. I just could not picture you guys walking off the floor in Laramie last night and saying to each other, well, it's okay that we lost this game because we had so many travel problems. You were just not going to allow that to happen.
That's what we talked on. And
yeah.
I think you have to hit it, front and center and talk about what could be there, because so often that is, you have every ready-made excuse in your hip pocket if it doesn't go well. Well, we had this problem and that problem. And we said, it's like life. You don't always get what you want every time you want it, but you have to suit up every day, and we've got to come out and prove that we're good. We've had trouble in Laramie. We've taken really good teams in there and struggled to win, and struggled and didn't win. So, and I told them, let's not leave here if we don't win and say, well, it was because Wyoming was really, really good. So our players, as you said, maybe it helped us in terms of, being able to focus that way. We played very hard and played really, really good defense.
Well, what does it say about your team that one game you could score in the 80s and win that way, and another you can hold the opponent into the 40s and win that way by scoring just 52?
Ben, I told our team before we played Air Force, I said, we've got Air Force now, and everybody talks about their patience and the low-scoring game, and you got to minimize turnovers and maximize every trip. Wyoming has 1 fewer possession a game than Air Force. They were at 62 and 61, and we knew going in that this was going to be a low possession, probably relatively low-scoring game. I didn't know it would be that low, but we only had 40 shots. But we also had 19 turnovers that contributed to the lack of shots that we got, too.
Yeah, I know you weren't pleased with the way you guys played in terms of executing on offense. You guys had a little fun there at the end of the game and created some turnovers. Jamal Franklin comes up with 12 points, 11 rebounds, but 7 turnovers in the game. You guys had 19 in all. That is not typical San Diego State basketball, but I think it also says something about how good your defense was, that you did not let the offensive execution that failed you hurt you at the other end of the floor.
We played really, really follow the blueprint defense with what we wanted to do, how we wanted to play them to a man. I was so proud of how we handled it, and we didn't have as much time to do it on the court. We didn't have as much time to watch film, but they were dialed in, and they were really good. But I would also say offensively, we were pretty efficient if you can throw out the turnovers. When what we did, I was very pleased with the way we did it. And we got much better looks overall than Wyoming did. And we had our spurt where we pushed that thing up, and then the clock became an ally. With 6-7 minutes to go, we're 15 points ahead, and we did a great job of running clock, but we've got to be able to finish, and at the end of the clock, we've got to score better at the end of the clock. But I think we're making progress in terms of how to play, and we've got to keep striving.
Coach Steve Fisher is with us here on Extra Sports 1360. Coach, I know you don't spend much time thinking about what people say about your team, the national college basketball media, but I also know that you're not ignorant of it as well. You follow what people do say. Do you think that people are accurate when they talk about this team and how surprised they are, and what shocking news out of San Diego State, didn't think they could do it again this year, compared to some of the things they said about last year's team when, quite frankly, a lot of people expected you to be good? What are you hearing, and do you think it's accurate?
To be honest with you, Ben, I don't read and listen to a lot of that stuff. I see where we're ranked, and occasionally one of the coaches will slip something on my desk about what someone has said, or whether it be good or not so good. But I think accurately, before last season, expectations were through the roof from everybody, including me, because we won 25 games a year before, should have beaten Tennessee in the tournament, and we had everybody back. So it was not to be expected that we'd be good. But 34-3 good, I think that superseded. This year, with everybody that we lost, I think myself included, to say that we were going to be 18-2 after 20 games, looking at who we would play, both non-conference and starting the season, I would say that none of us, including me, would have felt that would be the record, even though I thought we could be pretty good. We have exceeded my expectations in terms of where we are as a team, as well as where we are with victories. So I'm not surprised that the outside media would say that. And yet, we're climbing in the polls. We're getting, as we continue to win, we're getting more people jumping on the train.
A little bit more love, for Steve Fisher. I mean, they're talking about you for Coach of the Year again, Coach, and I know that that is something you definitely don't want to be dealing with at this point. You just want to worry about the Colorado State game coming up on Saturday, but the job you're doing has been fantastic. The job that Garrett Green did last night I thought was fantastic. I thought he gave you a huge lift. I don't always look at the numbers. I know you don't always look at the numbers. 4 points, 4 rebounds in 17 minutes. People might say, well, what kind of contribution did he really make to that game? Well, he came into the game and really steadied you during the first half. They had an early lead on you, and they were getting some rebounds and some second chance opportunities. I thought Garrett Green was one of the real surprise heroes for you last night.
I'm very proud of what Garrett has brought to San Diego State. He's a phenomenal young man, well documented, transferred from LSU, graduated from there, is in our grad school program. When we started league play, we decided that we were going to go with a small lineup, and that meant that Garrett was the odd man out, moving from the starting group to coming off the bench. Never flinched, never pouted, always ready, and we need him. He's a huge body that, as you said, does things with his size and presence that don't show up on the box score. And he delivered there, too. He got some big rebounds, made 2 big baskets for us. So you're exactly right. Garrett was really big in a lot of ways for us.
Last thing for me, Coach, I don't know how much stock you put in RPI, but I know Colorado State has a very high one, even higher than your team the last time I checked. What kind of team are you looking for in the matchup on Saturday? I mean, what should we be expecting as fans in this one?
Colorado State got 1 loss at Wyoming. Border war game, huge rivalry. It's going to be a whiteout. That's how they're advertising it. They're playing very well. They're one of the leading three-point shooting teams in the nation. You remember last year when it took a DJ Gay basket at the buzzer for us to pull out a 2-point win. Their perimeter play is exceptional. So we'll have our hands full. They are well-schooled. They are 12-1 at home, and they will be a handful, but we will be ready to play.
Coach Steve Fisher, the San Diego State Aztecs keep on rolling along, 18-2. Congratulations, Coach, on your 11th consecutive victory. I wanted to ask you this question as a parting question, because the women's team has won 11 games in a row as well, and I know that you and Beth Burns are very close and talk a lot about back and forth before and after games. And it seems to me right now that the two of you guys are kind of pushing each other. Nobody wants to be the one to end the streak. You guys won your 11th in a row. They knew that you had won when they took the court last night. That fired them up. They wanted to make sure they won their 11th in a row. San Diego State basketball as a whole right now, just spectacular for the red and black. But it seems like the two of you guys are pushing each other for more greatness. Is that true?
Well, I don't know if pushing one another is. We both know that there's immense, genuine respect and support for one another. You know Beth, I mean, she's everywhere with everybody, and she texts me before the game saying, I know you had 24 hours of craziness. Put it out of your mind and have 40 minutes of great basketball. We'll be pulling for you. Set the table for us. And I text her back after we won, and then I found out she was 10 points ahead and put another one in. Hold on and make it 2 for 2. And Beth told Mark, my son, she said, I know you're doing the texting for your dad because he's too old to do that. And I texted her last night at the end. I said, and this is me sending you this text message.
That's right.
You're not too old. You were referencing Ice Cube last week. Come on. You're
very
hip.
Much.
You're hip.
Right alongside Johnny Cash.
Attaboy, Coach. Well, congratulations on the win. Another good one for you last night. Best of luck Saturday at Colorado State.
Thank you, guys.